and welcome to the Only Old Town podcast, the podcast that lets you know what's going on in Scottsdale and Old Town Scottsdale. I'm Brian.
And I'm James. Today we have some musician guests today, which is kind of cool. It's a first for us.
Actually, yeah, you're right, it is. We haven't had any musicians on yet.
Okay. And we have Kelsea and Vox. And we'll be talking to them in a few minutes. They're starting something called the Sad Girls Club. And it sounds pretty interesting, and they're going to be doing their first show at Yellow Spruce Roasters, so that's pretty cool. So I thought we'd promote them today. So,
welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
We're so excited to be here.
As usual, we'll start reading off a couple things about what's going on in Old Town. And,
I'll go first?
Sure, I'll go first today. So I'm going to talk about June days. We're actually going to be, like I said, we're going to be off. We talked about that last one. We're going to be off from recording, but we're still going to be out doing stuff. And Scottsdale is really pushing June. They're showing that there's a lot of things still to do in June, even though it's broke. Yeah, even though it's broke 100 degrees. So I'll read off a couple of those things. So it's called June Days. You can look it up. I'm actually going to promote their website, but some of their stuff, because they got so much, some of their stuff will be on some of the events will be on our website too. But this is, you can go to their website at oldtownscottsdale.com/June Days. And just some of the free stuff they got going on, like at the library and the Civic Center park area on June 1st, they have a tweens painting workshop at the library, and I had to promote this one because it's Life's a Beach. You know, it's my last name.
Cute.
So anything that has to do with water and beach, I had to promote that one. So. And then, of course, the farmers market will be going through June, but they're going to be open more in the morning. Their hours are going to go from 7 to 11 instead of 8 to 1, which they've been doing. And then we have, let's see, on the 18th in the library again. This one is actually at the Community Design Center. Brian, that's where we went to the ambassadors meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know about it. I realized they did stuff in there. But it's on 75th. It's the address is 7506. It's on 75th Avenue. It's on the northeast corner of 75th Avenue and Indian School. They have a really nice community center in there, and they're going to be doing story days, Scottsdale Story Days. So they have one on the 18th and the 25th. The one on the 18th is about how a motorcycle accident in Scottsdale changed how Scottsdale developed. And that happened back in the 70s. So they don't tell you a lot because they want you to come and hear the story. So it's a little bit of
a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, a police officer was involved. A police officer, motorcycle cop, I guess we used to say. So, and then they have another one. And this one they said it may not be appropriate for younger people, but there's kind of a Bonnie and Clyde crime story that happened back in 97, which is when I moved here. So we'll have to see how that is. So those will be going on in the community center in the evening. From 7 to 9, and that one's on the 18th and the 25th. And then on the 15th, of course, they're going to be doing in the library again is Jungle Jill. They'll actually be bringing live animals into the library area, and they have different like rooms. Remember
the library?
Well, remember when we used to have, it said in the library. Remember when we did the golf carts and they'd have those meetings downstairs in the library?
Yeah.
Same, I think in that area, in their little meeting rooms.
Interesting.
And that's going to be from 1 to 2 in the afternoon on the 15th. They'll also be doing at the Civic Center Performing Arts Center. They're going to be doing the Juneteenth event on the 15th. Also, That's free, and that's going to be inside again. That'll be kind of like a all-day thing. And they have a couple things that you can look in that the places will be giving discounts, like the Brush Bar. They have a couple things on the 1st. That you can join at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 6:30, and then Wellness Wednesdays at 6:30 in the evening, and that's at the Monarch. That used to be the Saguaro Hotel.
Okay.
And it's yoga by the pool, and they'll have a different instructor each Wednesday. And the Brush Bar thing goes for $40, and the Wellness Wednesdays is actually for 2 people. It's only $35 for the yoga class, and they'll have a different instructor each day.
Cool.
So. Those are about, and there's a lot more on there. So, Brian, why don't you?
I thought you said there's a lot more. We're going to keep going.
Yeah, that's. I think we'd have a whole podcast about that. So let's.
That's a lot of stuff. Well,
yeah, you did say ahead of time that there was a lot of stuff going on this month. Yeah,
there is a lot. We've got Arizona Restaurant Week 2024 starting between May 17th and the 26th. So restaurants around the valley, around the state. I found one in Tucson, one in Sedona. So for here in Scottsdale, they have a bunch. We have Arcadia Farms, Beginner's Luck, Citizens Public House, the Herb Box. Those are all in American cuisine, and each one of the restaurants has got like a specialty dinner that they've set up for the event. So, you can go in, and the specialty is set up for like Arcadia Farms. Their dinner is going to be $55 a person. Beginner's Luck is $44. Citizens Public House is $55. And that'll be their set menu for the restaurant week. If that's not what interests you at that time, they also have their full menu available at regular price. So if somebody in your party doesn't really necessarily want to try whatever they have, then they have the Mexican restaurants. We have Barrio Queen and Tapas here in Scottsdale. Culinary Dropout.
Yeah.
We have B&B Cocktail Lounge, Hand Cut Chop House, STK for your steakhouses. Yeah, the Bourbon and Bones Cocktail Lounge.
Right, yep. So it's pretty cool. You and I actually went to this one a couple years ago, and we did the Barrio Queen.
Right.
So what you do is you order, I think Barrio Queen is $33, and they have the set menu. So it's kind of like a course meal. I think it's 3 or 4 courses in each place. So you pick the protein or something like that. But they have the menus all listed on we'll have their website posted on our website. So you can go there and see that. But that was kind of fun. I thought that
was interesting. You can raw sushi's there.
Right. And then we also, so Brian was saying, we noticed, so Brian and I have been doing golf carts so long, we remember when the original Barrio Queen opened here, when we were doing the golf carts. And now how many do they have over this?
I think I counted 7 yesterday around the valley.
And that's just in the valley. I know I've seen them in airports and stuff.
Gilbert,
so it's
Peoria, Glendale.
And that's kind of the whole idea.
Tempe.
I saw that this kind of the whole idea of this thing was it's developed by the Arizona Restaurant Association.
Yeah.
So, and they're trying to just promote all the different restaurants and places that how eclectic, I guess, and diverse the
food in Arizona can be.
Yeah.
So it's Arizona Restaurant Week. If you want to check out their website, it's just ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com. That has a listing for all the restaurants. You can pick what city you're in, and it'll give you the listings for all the different restaurants where you're at. Or you can just look through the whole listing and decide, where you want to go. Like I said, they're in Tucson, Sedona, and all over the valley. And I saw a lot of them I want to go check out. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see how it goes. And
we should try Culinary Dropout this time.
Okay. All right. So we got something planned for next week, I guess. So let's get to our guests. We got Kelsea and Vox. They're starting a new club. It's called the Sad Girls Club. Sounds kind of interesting. Some musicians that are helping other musicians get their work out there. So let's let you guys introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself to start off.
Yeah, hello. I'm Kelsea Robin. I'm a violinist / singer-songwriter.
And I'm Vox. I'm a ukulele player / singer-songwriter.
So Vox and I actually met here in Old Town at the open mic they were having at Yellow Spruce. And we both kind of write music that we're really not scared of kind of going into the, darker parts of the human psyche. It's really cathartic. It feels good to write a song where you just don't pull your punches about, all of the dark feelings. And
music is therapy.
Yes.
Right.
100%. So we were playing a show together and we were laughing and we're like, haha, it's the Sad Girls Club. And then
just kind of sparked a little idea there, huh?
Exactly. I was like, wait, it's the Sad Girls Club.
There's a lot of sad girls in Phoenix, and a lot of them write music.
And we had also kind of been chatting, like it's hard to get your stuff out there. The scene here is a little bit tricky to break into. There's a lot of man with guitar playing cover songs, which is not what we are, but I really think there is an audience out there who wants more than just that. And so rather than each and every one of us having to do that on our own, we thought we can come together and then we can combine our existing audiences. And then if we make some kind of organization that also legitimizes us, venues often respond better if you are backed somehow by an organization, even if it's made up.
Well, all organizations are made up by somebody, right?
You are
Right,
correct.
that's
Everything
right.
is made up. Nothing is real.
Yeah, but it has to start somewhere, right?
Exactly. So we started Sad Girls Club, and kind of that one part is leveraging community to get more opportunity for all of that, us. And then the other part is once we do that kind of phase 2 is that we build the Sad Girls Club itself as a brand that's really strong, that audiences really understand that if they come to a Sad Girl night, they're going to get a great show, and they trust us to put talented, great, performance-ready songwriters on every single show. Then I can put anybody who's ready for it on any show, and they'll have an interested audience, and they'll leave with more fans.
Nice. So
Yeah.
it sounds like there's a couple elements to this. So when we're talking, you have kind of the club where you're all getting together and supporting each other, but then you're also doing the shows.
So it's going to be more than
So-
just you guys during the show. You'll be bringing in other local artists.
So anyone who's kind of in the Sad Girls Club, all you have to do to be in the Sad Girls Club is be a sad girl who's performance ready. So
And who writes their own music, at least partly, yeah.
yeah.
So not
exactly.
looking for any cover stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we don't mind. All musicians do cover songs sometimes. I
Right.
do some, you do some. You do some really fun ones.
But you
I do some
definitely-
really weird ones, and I have to
Right.
tell people like 5 times their cover songs because nobody's heard them before.
Okay.
And I don't want to accidentally take credit for somebody else's song.
I might know some of them, but
But you do have to you do have to be working on your own original work, making your own original work. It is to support female songwriters. And all you have to do is fill out a Google form, send us some kind of video or something to show us that you're ready for it. And then every time I have a show coming up, I'll just reach out to everybody and see who's available and, make sure everyone fits together well. But so that live show component is really important. It gets, right, the more as musicians, the more we are performing live, the better off we are.
okay. Right.
The more you do it, the better you get at it, the easier it gets. It's super important. So if we can provide that as much as possible for the girls, that's one thing. And then also that gets us in the community, existing people see us, people remember us, all of that. And then the other component is social media, and these really tie into each other. So we have an Instagram page at Sad Girls Club PHX.
Okay.
And we really want to grow that. And if we can grow that a lot, anytime anyone in the Sad Girls Club has a show coming up, they have an album releasing, anything, we'll post it for them, we'll promote it for them. And then the other thing is that if we have a big following there, we can get bigger and bigger venues to kind of let us.
Nice. So
Book
our
with them.
first venue is going to be Yellow Spruce Roasters. We mentioned that. When is it? You said it's going to be the third Saturday of every month. So it's
Yep.
going to be a monthly thing. Okay.
Correct.
And in the evening, what time are you starting?
Yep. So it'll be 6 to 10 every third Saturday. So we have one coming up May 18th.
So, and this is so it's new musician, not necessarily new, but they're writing their own stuff. But the show's not going to be like an open mic night. You're going to have everything's going to be kind of set up, but you're going to
Correct.
hear new music, and you'll hear maybe some covers and just different types of artists.
So
But it'll be a little different each time.
how do the ladies join the Sad Girls Club?
There's a Google form
So
and the link in our Instagram bio.
Okay, give us all those Instagram, webpage, all
Yep.
that stuff, phone numbers.
So you
if
just
want to.
Google Sad Girls Club?
Probably the quickest way is to write Sad Girls Club into your search bar on Instagram.
Okay.
I haven't checked how good our SEO is if it comes up if we Google it.
It
That's
came up
something
when
I
I
should.
when I looked for it.
Oh,
So,
amazing!
yeah.
Then yes, you can Google Sad Girls Club.
Okay, so and then
And Kelsey's just been amazing at that, like the organizing, the coming up with promotional material, the promoting itself. Those are the things I'm very, very bad at. So I'm really appreciative of Kelsey taking the initiative with all that and like
Songwriting
organizing
and
all of this.
performing is your thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I can make the art, I can show up and do the art, but like getting the opportunity to actually do that is hard when I am just awful at promoting myself. So.
I
we all
wasn't.
have our pluses. so.
Yeah, I wasn't really naturally inclined to want to do that or even be like the person who brings everyone together. Honestly, Susie's the promoter's not the word, recruiter. A lot
Okay.
of most of the girls who have signed up who I didn't know, Susie found them. But I wasn't really naturally inclined to want to kind of be the person who like makes this group and like does community organizing. I didn't really think that was my strong suit, but I was really well positioned to take this on. Because in my day job, I actually work for ASU's entrepreneurship department. And my job specifically is with creative students to support creative entrepreneurship, to kind of empower our students in creative fields to claim the term entrepreneur so that they can benefit from entrepreneurship, whether they go through my department or they just do it on their own or find other entrepreneurial opportunities where they get it as an important
kind of fits in with what you're already doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah, I've spent a whole bunch of time the past couple of years kind of thinking about branding. How does that fit in for artists? So I have all these resources and skills to kind of like start a business and think of this like a business, run it like a business. So I was like, okay, cool. This is in alignment with what I do at work. This is a great opportunity for me to kind of apply all these concepts I've been, telling the students to do.
Right.
And then also it's in alignment with my own goals too, right? This isn't purely, it's a little bit selfish. If the Sad Girls Club does well, my music does well too, but it's great because I can help a bunch of other people at the same time. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're all new then. This whole Sad Girls Club is all
very new.
Right.
Okay.
Nice. Cool.
And yeah, I guess that is something else I bring to the table is the reason I'm able to recruit other Sad Girls is I am a serial open mic hopper. I go to open mics like almost every night of the week, almost every week.
Wow.
So
I
there's
guess you
like
do know
different
a
ones
lot.
all around Phoenix.
Right.
And I'm always meeting people, and I have a list in my phone of various open mics around the valley because it's hard to find a comprehensive list. So I'm just sending that to people, like
Okay.
just kind of connecting people to where all the underground music stuff is, where you can just go play.
When Kelsey called, when we talked yesterday, she wanted to make sure you could come because she said that you kind of started this with that, I guess, with that list of things like that, and you've been doing it for kind of like pulling people together for a while. Are you guys originally from Arizona? I know you were saying, are you originally from the area here, or are you?
Yeah, I grew up in Tempe.
Okay.
So I guess until I was 2, I lived in Ahwatukee, but I don't remember much of that.
Right. Okay.
Then I moved to Tempe when I was 2. And then I lived there till 2019, and ever since then I've lived in Phoenix. So.
Okay. And then what got you into music?
I've always been
studying it. When did you
a
start?
music
Young
person.
or,
I didn't. I didn't have really any like formal training. Like
Okay.
I learned piano when I was little, but I don't play piano anymore. I played violin in middle school. I can't play violin anymore.
Okay.
I've always loved to sing. Like I probably started singing before I could actually make words.
All right. Very good.
But I didn't actually pick up another instrument after setting down the violin for about 20 years. I was just doing like karaoke.
Okay.
Was all I was really doing with my voice. But I kind of started writing a poetry again, which is something I used to do as a teenager and then stopped doing.
Okay.
And some of that I was kind of able to fit into a cadence. And I was like, the only thing this is missing is a melody. I bet if I learn an instrument, I've got some songs.
Okay.
So in it was like the end of 2022, so probably like October, November of 2022, I started to learn ukulele.
Okay.
And then I wound up like writing my first couple songs like the following spring, so in like February, March of 2023, and I've just
Nice.
been knocking them out ever since. It's been really fun.
Cool. So maybe at the end we'll get you to play a little bit, give us a little sample. of
This
what they
is
might have.
Lucy, by the way.
Okay, Lucy. The people can't. There's a lot of this people can't see. So she's got her ukulele here, and she's got
Covered
little
in stickers.
local
She's-
artists, and
Small
yeah, nice
instrument,
little
big
Fender.
personality.
Did you know
Kind of
Fenders
like
were made
you.
here before? They used to be made here.
I didn't know
Fenders.
that. No.
Yeah, so I learned that at the Valley Ho Hotel. They have 3 Fenders up
Right.
there, and they used to. The reason they have them in there is because
Because
Fender used to put all their big buyers up at the Valley Ho Hotel back in the day.
Oh, that's so cool.
They were actually made here. So yeah, she got a nice little Fender ukulele here. So and then Kelsey, tell us a little bit how you were saying you started very young on the violin with the violin.
Yeah, I started playing violin when I was 7. If I had known, I'd kind of find that I had a knack for writing songs, I maybe would have done something else. But my sister, who's a year and a half older than me, was playing violin. And I wanted to do it, but I wanted to be different. So I asked if I could play viola. And then my mother said, I need to talk to her about this and see what she really meant by it. But she said, you have to start with violin because it's closer to the angels because it's higher in pitch.
I like that. That's very poetic.
I did once tell a violin teacher that when I was kind of in my early 20s, and she said, does that mean viola is closer to the devil?
Cello's even closer then.
Oh my gosh, I know. Bass, completely depraved.
There you go.
Anyways, it is like
In a good way.
it is like very normal to have people start on violin, and then it's pretty easy to move to viola. So I think it was more just a like practicality thing, but then I never switched and famously never allowed myself to be moved to viola. There's always fewer violists, so they always make violinists learn viola for like string quartets and stuff.
Okay.
When did
but-
you start writing songs?
I started in my early 20s. I had actually gone to college for linguistics. I went to school in Tokyo, and I kind of didn't plan to be a musician. I loved music. I loved playing violin. But I never really felt like I was good enough. And then when I was in college, my friend in my dorm tricked me into playing in the backing band to the school gospel choir. So that was kind of my first experience having to learn to use my violin in a different context than classical music. And I find playing classical music very stressful. It's beautiful. I love it. It's too stressful.
I do remember that from 8th grade many years ago.
Learning classical.
It's so hard. I played all Russian music on my master's recital. It was,
Wow.
I'll never be the same. But
My niece is very uptight. That's probably why she's a violinist. I was saying my niece was she ended up being the number one chair violinist for the San Jose Philharmonic.
Oh, wow.
So she's doing something in Maine now.
Awesome.
But yeah, she was always, she's good. But she's funny. In Los Angeles, we were walking around one day. I picked her up at the airport, and she had her violin. She carries her violin everywhere also. And we're walking in the store, and she's like, do you want to hear? She just like pulls it out and starts playing in the store.
I love witnessing just people whipping out instruments in public.
All right. So
Can you do it?
Yeah, let's have you play a little bit of something. Did I interrupt your story? Do we want to talk a little bit more? I'm sorry, we were.
I mean, we can talk more, but I don't mind letting the conversation flow.
Okay, I do that sometimes. You can always kick me under the table.
lot.
So just I get a thought in my head and it pops in. So
Kelsey and I are both talkers too, so like I feel like we can both hold our own in a conversation for sure.
Very good.
Honestly, I let you do most of the talking a lot of the time.
Oh,
I don't know if you noticed. Sometimes I'm like, I'm a little tired, but Vox can talk for me and I'll just listen.
Okay, so you mean that in a good way. Because sometimes I do feel like I talk too much. Like that's something I'm really self-conscious about.
No, it's not like you're talking too much, so I can't talk. It's you're going to talk, so I don't have to.
Okay. As long as I'm picking up the slack, not stealing the
So
line.
just
There you go.
The other day, I was my husband. I was out with my husband, and someone was like talking to us, and I was kind of spacing out, and he's like, "Oh, she's tired of me." I was like, "No, I let him handle the public relations for us a lot."
nice.
So as far as before I choose what song I'm going to play, are there any rules as far as language on this podcast?
I don't. As far as language, I would say no. Just I'll get his attention.
Well,
I don't think. Just do it if it comes
Doesn't
up.
matter.
Yep.
Okay, I actually don't even remember if there's any swearing in this song, but I couldn't like think through the lyrics that
if
quickly.
it's something
Okay.
we have to bleep, we'll just we'll edit
Okay.
it.
Yeah, we'll tell
Cool.
them to edit it. Okay.
All right. So this song that I'm going to play is called Narcotic Nostalgia and Nagging Nausea. And that's not even close to my longest or most obnoxious song title. I have, this is one of the first, I put out my first album in February, end of February.
Nice.
It's on Spotify. There's 9 tracks on Spotify. I also have physical CDs that have 10 tracks. So there's
Okay,
an extra
nice.
one if you
Very
have
good.
physical CD, little
So
Easter egg.
those be a Yellow Spruce?
When you're playing at night.
Yeah, when I play shows, if the venue lets me, it kind of depends on the venue. But I usually have CDs with me, and if they're not in the venue, I always have them in my car. So if you find me,
Follow
you
me
can find
outside.
a CD.
Yeah, all right.
When I do all the artwork for my album too, I'm really proud of like the physical copy has an 8-page booklet, and all the art are acrylic paintings that I've
Nice.
done.
That fits in with a lot of stuff we do here. We talk to
Right.
a lot of different artists. So,
Yeah, very cool.
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I love art of all types. Now you're gasping for breath, but you can't get enough, 'cause the air in your lungs, well, it just can't compete with the drugs you gave up. Lord knows it's tough to abandon a crutch when it's clear your kneecaps are still busted and your neuromechanics are creaking and rusted, unsure if you're feeling at all or too much. And you're holding on for dear life. Yeah, you're holding on for dear life. 'Cause they're gathered at your doorstep, these shadows of your past. Behind your blinds, they're at your windows, tapping on the glass. If you just let them in, they've got some questions to ask. Devil on each shoulder, so you look straight ahead, collecting distractions to stave off the dread and avoid meeting yourself alone in your head. That pillow talk whispering voice of regret, connecting constellations of failure and disaster as your past comes alive in the most ghastly patterns sewn by the fates with their ill-fated thread. And you're letting go for dear life, trying to let go for dear life, 'cause they've now run out of patience, these shadows of your past. You hear the windows crack as they press up against the glass. You can run all you want from your mind. These thoughts are too fast. And they ask, if that worldview that you're heeding isn't rife with sin and hedonism, is your heart still beating? Aren't you dying to come alive? Rhythmic palpitations, steer times tempo into overdrive. Don't slow down, hold your ground, don't you dare drown in the sound till you stop and fill the gaps with powder pills and alcohol. Rinse, repeat, stumble, crawl, re-hit that wall. 'Cause after all, by now you know the protocol. Sometimes it's shame that comes before the fall. Oh, when pride has long since been her last goodbye, and you can't just let yourself go. Not this time.
That was good.
Very cool. Very nice. Wow.
So there's a little preview of
Sad girl.
Yellow Spruce Roosters Sad Girls Night.
Yeah, so what? It's the third Saturday. Do you know what the actual date is? I didn't write
That's
that
at the
down.
18th?
The 18th this month,
Okay,
yeah.
so and you don't have to be a sad girl to enjoy the show. I'm realizing now. It's one of the things. So Brian and I, when we first talked about this, and we saw the Sad Girls Club, we were wondering if it was like kind kind of only for girls, or so it's kind of like that. Feel
As
like
far as the music is, right? You guys, it's all a girls' club.
It's all
Correct.
girls,
Yeah, we
So-
want to support women in music,
Right.
But
but,
as far as-
obviously we're not going to cut out half of our target audience.
Right.
The,
so
the
but
show
yeah,
is
but the
everybody.
but the show's for everybody. Nice.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
very
Anybody
cool.
can come. She's and they's on the performing set, but
Yeah, but we really
men are
Right.
welcome to come get sad with us. You don't have to
Okay.
show up sad, but if we
Okay.
do our job, you will be sad by the time you leave.
Yeah, we really appreciate our audiences. Like none of this means anything without people coming to hear us. And, we can really get in our heads of like trying to get everything right, do all our music. And, it's important for us to take a minute and be like, no, the audience is who it's for. And like Vox said, music is therapy. Like we kind of do it for ourselves a lot of the time. But at the end of the day, music without an audience is kind of,
Right. Okay.
This is a really pretentious thing I say, but it is also true. Is like success for me has never been like I've never wanted to be anything besides a hobby musician. Like I'm not planning on quitting my day job because again I'm bad at the marketing, and I realize that's a big component.
Right.
But success for me is when like those handful of times that I've had people come up to me and be like, "Hey, this lyric or this song really, really spoke to me and really reminded me of stuff I've been going through. So thank you for that. Like I really needed to hear that. And I just think that's the coolest thing. And that's the reason why I don't keep my songs just for myself.
Very nice.
I think a lot of musicians feel that way. They appreciate when somebody can say, "Oh,
That's like clap the audience,
You hit a spot for me.
Right.
You connected with me."
Yeah, it's the best feeling.
I kind of always feel like I'm like interacting with the world and other people through like a pane of kind of dirty glass. Like I never quite feel 100% connected. And then in times in my life where things have been really hard, I felt really alone. I listen to like a lot of music, a lot of indie music. And when there's like a song that just really hits and you're like, this is how I feel, even if the exact story of the song isn't your story, like the kernel of truth at the core of that song is exactly how you feel. Like that's kind of the only time I don't feel alone. So I would really love for people to get that with my songs.
The connection.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, like nobody in my life seems to understand me, but somehow this stranger that I have never met and probably never will, like
Right.
this
Wrote a
this
song that-
and I don't know them personally, but like this feeling that they've encapsulated into a work of art, like that's my feeling that I'm having right
Do you
now.
remember we were playing a show and there was that lady who came in and she was like an accountant or something. And Sad Girls Club wasn't like officially founded, but we were like laughing about it, leaning into it, like, joyously wallowing in our despair.
yeah.
And she's all like,
Chatting about it.
why are you so sad? And I'm like, but like, there's the
That was
edges
that
of
same lady who told me to stop taking my medication.
Yeah.
And to eat more vegetables. I was like, oh, I never thought of that.
Right.
It's like the edges of reality are fraying and there's a darkness encroaching on the perimeter of everything. How are you not sad? But okay. But like, right, it's like some people will get it and some people won't get
Right.
it, And our target audience is the people who get it and who like need that.
Not everybody has to get everything.
Right.
Exactly. That
Know
makes
your
us
market.
diverse.
Know your
It's
niche.
great.
The difference is what makes everybody, everybody.
Different strokes and all that.
Right. So that was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it was really
Thank you.
cool. Thank you.
She's so
Appreciate
good.
that.
I
Wow,
mean,
it's a
I've heard
great
that
voice.
song like so many times, but every
Thank
time
you.
I'm like, it's
Nice.
so good.
Yeah, I put a lot into my lyrics. Like I think a lot about like the rhyme structure, the cadence, and I've got a lot of like double, triple metaphors wrapped up in a lot of them. Like I like to think, like I have some of those lyrics you kind of have to sit down
Stop
and read
and
to
think
catch
about.
everything,
Right.
because they're very personal stories for me. Like that one was a lot about my recovery from addiction
Okay.
and just
Kind of had that feel.
Yeah.
the just the racing thoughts and the like not being able to escape your own head
Okay.
kind of feeling.
Yeah,
A
yeah, I
lot
can
of
live with
people have that.
Yeah, I feel like that's
So-
relatable to way too many
I have
people.
some-
you know?
Way too many people
I have some
right
family
now.
back in New England, and one of my sisters, whenever we talk to her, like me and a couple of my brothers moved out here to the West, California, and here, and she said without the weather changing so much out here, we have too much time to think. So like back there, you're in the winter, you're kind of getting ready to, you want to stay warm, but all summer long, you're getting ready for winter, and you don't have all this time to think about all the other things that are going on in the world. So,
That's the weirdest way to look at good weather I've ever heard of.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's why there's so much because there was points where both my brother and I are calling her going, "Oh, our lives are so bad." He's like, she's like, "You got too much time to think out there."
I feel like you have a lot of time to be sad during those New England winters.
Right?
I sure was sad for my 2 New England winters the whole time.
So
Yeah, I'm definitely
right.
enjoying the warm
yeah, me
versus
too,
cold.
especially right now. So.
I grew up in a warm place. I lived in New England for a little bit. It's beautiful, but
You're happy to be back here.
Or
I'm actually not from here, but
where are you from?
I was born in San Antonio, but my family moved away when I was not even a year old. And we lived in Oregon for a little bit, but when I was about 9, we moved to Honolulu, and I was there until college. So that's kind of like the
And
main.
then Tokyo. Well, you're very well traveled.
And then Tokyo, and then New York, and then Nashville, and then Chesterfield, Massachusetts,
Okay.
Wow.
I know.
and then Phoenix.
All
Well,
right.
if we really want to be pedantic, Tempe. then Phoenix.
So out of all of them, what's the best? Where'd you enjoy the most?
Honestly, if money were no issue and nothing were tying me down, I'd probably move back to New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just want to live in a little cabin by a bog,
Quiet.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Secluded.
surrounded by nature and little woodland creatures could be my friends.
City's getting a little bit big and crowded around here.
I want a small house with a big garden.
There you
Big
go.
garden.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
that's my kind
Yeah,
of
that's
thing.
the
So,
ideal.
2 reasons. So I know, like, and anyway, so my wife is very particular about that place being clean. I try my best, but no matter what I do, it's just not clean enough. But if I had a bigger house, she would spend most of our retirement cleaning. So I want to make sure I have a small house so that I can get
So
her
she
out.
has less work to do.
At least
the time.
it's not even about her work. It's just about getting out of the house sometimes. A lot of times, like, let's go do something. She's like, well, I have to do the laundry. I'm like, the laundry? Wait, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
You know what? I can relate to that. Like, I feel like I'm not allowed to have fun
Right.
until everything that could possibly be need doing is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to consciously remind myself that everything that could possibly need doing
Is
will
never
never be done.
Right, there
There
you
is
go.
always something I feel like I should be doing as opposed to
good.
having fun. So I have to just force myself to
Shut
take
down
a
and go
break
enjoy
every
yourself.
once in a while.
Oh,
That's it.
I always put fun first. I never clean unless I absolutely have to, and then I do it kicking and screaming.
See, that's why we make the best team.
Exactly.
So
I am very meticulous about getting our Instagram content up and running the Sad Girls Club, though. I kind of run it with an iron fist.
She does a little
Well,
bit.
that's good.
She's big boss mama.
It's important to me that we build a really good reputation with our venue partners and all of that, and that everybody always has a good experience with us, so that we can be a part of the community that people respect and enjoy working with. So
Brian and I know a few
hence the iron
new
fist.
few restaurants around here. We'll make sure we tag them and all when we're with this one and see what we can do to
the
help
SAG.
promote you.
Yeah, get the
Yeah.
SAG
So
girls
we
somewhere
appreciate
else.
you starting in Scottsdale, in Old Town. So it's kind of another new thing that's
Yeah, you
starting
guys
in
could
Old
have started
Town.
in Tempe, so at least
Yeah.
thanks for starting here.
Yep. And then
Yeah. Well, thank Yellow Spruce for being open to having us.
Yellow
Yeah.
Spruce has been awesome. Just
Yeah.
bringing more and more of the
Brian
small
and-
town
Brian and
local
Lucy
arts.
are
Yeah.
awesome.
Lucy
That's
and Brian are so kind. They're really supportive. And especially because kind of what we're about is we're trying to be different. We're trying to be something new.
And they're willing.
took a
They're
risk
willing
on
to.
that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
willing to
Right.
take that
Yeah.
risk with something different. Their open mic nights have been pretty cool. And stuff.
Yeah.
That's
They
a
have
great
been, yeah.
place. So
they took a risk with me when we first started. We actually kind of took a risk on each other. When they first opened, that they put an ad in my map too, and we helped each other with promoting. And
Yeah, they're really
So, yeah.
supportive of
Yeah.
other
So-
local.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go check out Yellow Spruce
the
Roasters.
18th,
Yes.
Yellow Spruce Roasters, the
Good
wine
coffee,
bar
too.
in the evening,
Yes, they have great
flatbreads.
food. Come hungry.
Yeah, I've done some biscuits and gravy there in the morning now. They have some,
Really?
Yeah, they're doing some
okay, that must be
little
new,
morning
yeah.
thing. Yeah, so do that, and then let's get down to some business. Promote your stuff again. however they can get a hold of you, what you're doing,
Yep. Follow Sad Girls Club PHX on Instagram. I'm Kelsea Robin, Kelsea, also on Instagram.
And I am Vox Manica. That's V as in Victor, OX MANICKA. I should have chosen a simpler and easier to find name. But it's that same name on Instagram, YouTube. I have about I think like 45 videos up on YouTube now.
Wow, nice. We only have 13. So you're doing
And I try and release like something new like every like 4 to 8 days.
okay, we'll make sure we follow you on that.
And then on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. My
Okay.
first album's out, and I'm looking to record my next single soon.
Nice. Very cool.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that I have.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
promote your Spotify.
Yeah. Kelsea Robin, Kelsea, Robin like the bird, on your favorite streaming service. It should be on any streaming service. I actually came out with an EP in like 2019.
Okay.
So we are due for some new music. So we'll see how we can make that happen. I do have a YouTube if you want to see kind of what my live performances look like. I'm not nearly as, I kind of use it as a parking spot for longer videos. I'm not really working on like building it. My
Okay.
kind of main focus right now is to build my Instagram and to build the Sad Girls Club Instagram.
Okay. That's our project over the summer too.
Is building our Instagram.
Instagram,
Kinda followers up.
TikTok, and we're gonna take a lot of these videos and like.
Oh, and I hate
Photos.
TikTok, but I also have a TikTok. I don't. Notifications are off. I never look at my For You page. I log in, I post, I log out. But I have one.
The thing with TikTok is that you can get like way more eyes on your content, but it doesn't really tend to translate to real world anything. And Instagram, I have found I've never had somebody come to a show because they saw it on TikTok. In fact, TikTok kind of, I don't know, everything about what TikTok suppresses is a little bit conspiracy theory adjacent, but it seems to be the case that TikTok suppresses anything that is like a live event or like promoting people gathering, which I think a couple years ago there was like a problem where a TikToker who was like really big got people to like, I don't know, I'm a very tenuous holder of this information. Someone else, but I think there's a reason for it actually. So Instagram, I feel like it's harder to get people it's harder to build an audience on Instagram, but I think the audience
Is a better audience.
I think
It's more
too,
local. It's
more
more-
local.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at our stuff yesterday. Yeah, and we have a lot of people from Phoenix and Scottsdale that are following us now on Instagram, and then our demographic, most of them are between 25 and 54, mostly women. So 55% women. We're kind of checking. So yeah, I'm just learning this. I'm talking because I'm learning how to do it.
I'm gonna have to follow you guys after this too.
So
Small demographic, but we're working on it.
I did make a TikTok account for Sad Girls Club just so we'd have it, so no one would steal it. But I don't want it to just be the same content as Instagram. Audiences don't tend to like that. And there's just not capacity to make content for two platforms right now. So
we're getting a little business advice here too.
There you go.
From someone that knows something about
Make sure your
entrepreneur
content's
stuff,
different
so-
wherever you put it.
All right.
Don't
So-
copy yourself.
All right, so I don't know. We're enjoying this conversation, but I don't know how long we are on our timing here.
I
So.
don't know, it's been a minute. So.
Yeah, so
But the ladies were wonderful
really great
conversation.
conversation.
Thank you again
Yeah,
so much
The
for
music was
having
great.
us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're
Enjoyed
so
that a little
grateful for
different.
the opportunity to get to share the word because we're so
Absolutely, yeah.
excited and we really think Sad Girls Club can make a difference for a lot of
I like the idea that
people
you're
like
doing.
us.
Instead, like what you were saying, that like with the open mic night, you get a lot of performers, but when you're doing that in the club, you might not necessarily transform into people buying drinks and stuff. Because
also for artists,
Right, but
open
with
mic
this,
is
it's more,
great
yeah.
for you to build community and make
Right.
friends, but it's not a huge
It's not a showcase of kind of what you can do.
Yeah, it's not a huge audience builder for you because it's other musicians who might kind of become fans, but you also need non-musicians to be your fans. We can't all just be each other's fans.
Right, perfect. So,
can't just have your own little clique. You gotta grow.
all right, Brian. So,
Exactly.
and how do they get a hold of us, Brian?
They get a hold of us at onlyoldtown.com on Instagram, YouTube,
We do have a TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, there's a couple dots in there. I think it's only.old.town something. I don't know, but we're gonna fix that.
Old Town Road.
Next week. Yeah, next week we're gonna fix that. So
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff fixing social media.
But we're trying to keep it all only Old Town. And then again, I'm just gonna repeat. We are gonna take a little time off from the actual recordings, the podcast, but. I think we're going to try to get sponsors, Brian. I did some numbers. And if anybody's out there, we're going to be looking for sponsors. And for each podcast, to sponsor a podcast is going to be looking about $175.
Not bad.
Yeah. So just to kind of get it off, that'll just help us cover the costs and get going. So if you're interested, we'll be doing an Instagram messaging post thing, whatever it is that you to get you interested.
It'll be out there somewhere. So.
Okay. So, all right.
Well, make sure you guys check out Arizona Restaurant Week. Check out some of these good restaurants, get some of these good deals, and enjoy yourselves.
And the June days.
June days.
Yep.
Got a lot going on here. So just because it's getting hot doesn't mean Scottsdale's closing down. We try to keep things going. Golf carts are out there giving you rides.
Right.
We'll get you around and have a good time out here in Scottsdale. Old Town's the place to be.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great
Thanks.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.